welcome to Dots of Destiny. Welcome to your 2024 horoscope Scorpions. Okay, now here I'll give a details of the transits that is happening in 2024, and I'll talk about the four main areas, that is firstly the professional front, the financial front, the relationship front, and the travel and health front. So let me begin with the transits of the outer planets first. Big planets, how they move this year. Like Saturn is the main planet, which is having a 2.5 years of stay in Aquarius in your 4th house. This year also, whole year, it will be continuing in the sign of Aquarius in Shatabhisha and in Purva Bhadrapada Nakshatra. So it will remain all throughout the year, and it will go retrograde in your 4th house only from mid of June to mid of November, roughly 130 days of retrogression. Then comes Jupiter. Jupiter is there in your 6th house for the first 4 months from January to the end of April. 1st of May, it is moving from 6th to the 7th house of Taurus and will stay there till 2025 April. And Rahu Ketu has already made a move to your 5th house and 11th house axis. Rahu in the 5th, in the Revati and in Uttar Bhadrapada Nakshatra, whole year of 2025, and Ketu will be in the 11th in Chitra and Hasta Nakshatra. So this is the roughly outer planets which is panning out in your 4th house, in your 7th house, in Kendra, Jupiter, Saturn, and 5th, 11th, Rahu and Ketu. Now your Lagna Lord, very important transit of Mars happening this year. It will start its journey from Sagittarius. Sun and Mars will be together in Sagittarius. 10th Lord and Lagna Lord in the 2nd house, starting its journey from January. Then Mars will move into your 3rd house with Venus also getting exalted over there. Then Mars and Venus will move into your 4th house, and Mars will have a conjunction with Saturn over there in the 4th. Shani Mangal Yoga, heavy energy for the 4th house. And then Mars will move into the 5th house with Rahu over there. Then Mars will go into the its own house of Aries in the 6th house, where it is very comfortable, dealing with Rogrin Shatru. And it will begin a new journey of Aries, as Aries is the 1st house of the horoscope in Kalpurush Kundali, and that will be in the 1st week of June. Then Mars will shift into Taurus, your 7th house, then Gemini, your 8th house, and lastly by November it will come into Cancer in your 9th house, getting debilitated and retrograde in the month of November, December. This will be the whole journey of Mars from the 2nd to the 9th house. Now is Mercury, your 8th Lord and the 11th Lord. 8th Lord, 11th Lord, Mercury is getting retrograde 3 times on Lagna, 5th house, 9th house, and 20 days of Mercury retrograde. Otherwise Mercury will start from Scorpio, your Lagna only. From the beginning of the year, Mercury Venus will start its journey from Scorpio in January, and it will go retrograde over there. Then it will come to the 5th house. As it comes, it will go retrograde there, and also in the 9th house by the end of the year. And the thing is that this retrogression will you'll see back and forth of Mercury. So the monetary factors needs to go for a check, because 8th are sudden events and also inheritances and different insurance, money, taxes, and 11th house is obviously incoming gains. So regarding these 2 houses, some knots can get untied, because Mercury will cross the Gandanta 3 times this year. As we know, there are 3 Gandanta, the watery and the fiery zone Gandanta. The untying of the knots can happen whenever a planet, especially a planet like Mercury, which is a very swift moving planet, goes back and forth in Gandanta zone. That kind of a result can be expected, especially if you're running a Mercury Antardasha, Pratantardasha, definitely. So 11th house matters, 8th house sudden events can come into focus in this area on the Lagna. on the 5th house and on the 9th house. So that is the Mercury transit details I'll give when the transit will happen. And now comes Venus, that is your 7th and the 12th lord. Venus will start its journey from your Lagna and it will come back with a 360 degree to your 3rd house Capricorn. Venus is having smooth run this year with no retrogression, no slowing down, and it will only make conjunction with Saturn, Mars and Rahu, and obviously Mercury when it is starting this year. So these are normal planetary wars that Venus always go through every year, but the run of Venus is exactly the correct as it should be doing. 25 days nearly, 23-25 days every month in a sign. So Venus is having a normal run. Now let us focus on your professional area first. The professional area, you see the 6th house and the 10th house mainly. The daily jobs, first 4 months of the year the theme is a little different, and next it's a little different. How? See, Saturn being the karma karak sitting in the 4th house is constantly aspecting your Leo house by 7th aspect, and Jupiter in the first 4 months, as it is going direct after a long retrogression, on 1st of Jan it will be aspecting your 10th house also with Saturn. So first 4 months will see some things happening in the 10th house definitely. Double transit of Jupiter Saturn, and if you have dasha antardasha of any of the either of the one, or if two, then it is even better. Some build up in the professional area should happen. Then your 6th house, Jupiter moves from 6th house will be like, see, it's Mars house, your Lagna lord. Whenever Mars is in dignity, only barring the 2 transits, which actually 3 times. First, it will have a conjunction with Saturn. It is a little difficult conjunction for Mars, Saturn both. Very different kind of planet, these 2 planets. One is cold, one is very hot planet. So some kind of a tussle in your official area or your professional area may happen, You have to adjust with it. A little bit of care is needed during that time. At this point of time when Mars Saturn meets in Aquarius, it is like the middle of the March to 3rd week of April. So there are too many energies with Mars Saturn conjunction and also aspecting your 10th house. Saturn, Mars, Jupiter all will be aspecting your 10th house. Little bit of tread with caution. Don't burst out, because such things happens with Saturn Mars. Otherwise it's a good aspect. Lot of planets aspecting 10th house. Then when Mars moves with Rahu, it will be in the last week of April till the end of May. Some kind of displacement or some kind of changes, as Rahu is dwelling deep into the watery sign of Pisces, can happen in the 6th house area. Then as Mars moves finally into the 6th house, you need to settle down with your 6th house affairs and bring a structured approach, as Saturn is constantly aspecting this house. You have to have a structured approach towards your 6th house and professional area. But the year is no way bad for profession, because a lot of energy is building up. You take a slower pace approach. The energies can become very fast, but don't get too much agitated or too caught up with the energies, because then you get too overwhelmed sometimes. So let the energies flow and you adjust yourself. It is going in a good direction. Nothing bad about it. From my point of view, there's nothing bad about these energies. Another thing is that I must point out, Scorpio, your ascendant, or if you're a moon sign, you are getting aspect of 3 planets, Saturn, Jupiter, Rahu, this year. As Saturn is having an 10th aspect on the Lagna, Jupiter, when it moves into Taurus, 1st of May, it will start aspecting your Lagna. As it moves into the 7th, directly it will aspect your Lagna. And Rahu from the 5th, I take the 5th and the 9th aspect of Rahu is also aspecting. So it's a very growth oriented year for you. I feel it definitely. Take the most of this year till 2025 April, May. It's a very growth oriented approach here. Don't sit back, don't wait, take the opportunities. However shaky it may feel, it will take you to destinations. take the opportunities. It is a good professional year. It is a growth oriented change. Change will always put you in a bit of a rut, so take that in your stride, move with it. Energies will settle down, and you will see by 2025 April you will feel quite confident about yourself, your growth area. So this is the profession. Now financial, your finances are managed by second house is the Jupiter house, Sagittarius. Then comes your 11th house is Mercury, and 8th house is also Mercury. So see, Jupiter this year is in Kendra. So Kendra Jupiter and Saturn Jupiter should do good with finances. You and especially whenever Jupiter comes in the Kendra, it gives a solid this thing to the, because Saturn Jupiter both the big planets are in the Kendra, and Rahu Ketu is in the 5th 11th axis. Some excess money can come in, and little bit during the Gandanta periods of Mercury, be a little careful with your spending or your investments. Let the time go, then take the decision. Otherwise it should do good this year monetarily also. It should do good, because Rahu in the 5th and Ketu in the 11th, monetary wise it does good. That's what I'm trying to say. So money wise I don't see glitches that much in this year. Just don't go anytime, because Jupiter in the first 4 months is there in the 6th house. Don't take up too much loan, because Jupiter inflates the area. Otherwise it should do good, because Jupiter in Kendra will be aspecting your Kama Trikon also, your 3rd and 11th. So desires can be fulfilled. Saturn in the Kendra in the 4th house, though it is Kantak Shani for the moon in Scorpio, but still Saturn in the 4th, it gives good real estate boost also. So monetarily, if you want to buy something when Mars will be in good position, do go for it. If you want to buy some real estate or something, go for it. Now comes your relationship part. Relationship part, again your 2nd house, your 4th house and the 5th house. Here I must say a little bit of and Ketu in the 11th also, networking area. A little bit of softer attitude is needed over here. Why? You see, Jupiter is in your 2nd lord is well placed in the 7th house. So if you want to go for marriage, it is a good time. Rahu can bring in new relationships in the 5th area also. So that can also happen. But see, don't go too much emotional about it, because Rahu gets too much attached and emotional in this Pisces area of 5th house. With your children also, do not go push too hard, because Rahu is that kind of energy. It's a very go type of energy. So do it, but understanding that Rahu is in the 5th, your love affairs, your children treatment should be handled with a little bit of care. Don't get too obsessed with it. Otherwise, it's a good time for marriage. Where Jupiter goes into the 7th, a lot of marriages for Scorpio people will happen. Definitely, when Venus position will be good, marriages will happen. But Venus is having a better run. This is a good run, smooth running Venus. So that can happen. That is a good time for relationship. 4th house is having Saturn. Take care of the health of your mother, your own health also, because you'll have a lot of work to do, and also Saturn is aspecting the Lagna. But relationship 4th house, you can feel sometimes Saturn energy is very typical in the 4th house. It gives the material prospects. You can buy car, you can buy big house, you can get real estate benefits, but still you can feel a little spiritual at heart, because Saturn gives that kind of a flavor, and sometimes you can be misunderstood by your own family members. Don't get too irritated with that. Saturn always points the faults in the area where it is transiting. So take it with a pinch of salt if such things happen, but it is after all a very good year for relationship, marriage, for family, and building up family, for building up wealth, getting some extra income, profession, all these things. And last is your health and travel. So see, travel is your moon is your travel lord, and Saturn is you may have travel, because Jupiter is in the 7th also aspecting if you have a desire to travel and all this. But sometimes you'll feel that you want a silent place for yourself, because Saturn is in the 4th. Whenever it is in the 4th house, you want to stay at home, you want to be a little silent, and you want to enjoy that kind. But if you want to go for destinations, you can fulfill your desires. That kind of a condition is there in the horoscope this year. But health needs a lot of caution. Why I'm telling you, see, lot of pressure is there with all the planets wanting you to match up to the situation that they're creating. So whenever 3 planets are aspecting the Lagna, Saturn is aspecting the professional area, so you will have certain changes which you have to live up to. So living up to that change in itself can feel a little changes can, because we always want to avoid changes, but keep a proper health regime, because see, your Lagna Lord is making 2 difficult conjunctions this year, otherwise it is good. 3 times your Lagna Lord, first it is getting conjuncted with Saturn in the 4th house. That is quite a rough and tough conjunction with Saturn. At that time you must take care of your health. Then it is having a Angarak Yoga, bombastic combination with Rahu in the 5th house. That also your Lagna Lord with Rahu, you must keep care of your health. And Jupiter, whenever it comes in the lower part, as it is now traveling in your 6th house, 7th house, 8th house later, it gives a heavy weight. You try to gain weight. So what I'm trying is that you, being a Marsian sign, you go for fitness regime and keep a proper mental health, because Saturn in the 4th house can sometimes feel a little heavy in your peace. The peace is a little marred with Saturn. So health perspective needs some checkups, some good regime, some exercises and all these things. So health is the area which you must focus this year, so that you enjoy the other areas of the life. So it's a sorted horoscope this year, Scorpio people. I feel that you're one of the signs who is getting a very growth oriented year this year. Please go for it, because such transits, when they are all conjuring up to make and give the best to you, you must utilize it. Take opportunities, go for it. Don't sit back and be shy about it. So this is what I had to say about your sign. Hope I could put some lights on the pockets which I wanted to talk about. From your next until then, till my next video, we'll again share the space. Thank you till then.